now we're going to get to the crux of the show because, John, I yelled audibly in my living room Saturday night. And I feel like Colonel Jessup when he said, grave danger, is there any other kind? How do you yell besides audibly, right? Yes. It's just something when Steph hits one of those clutch shots, and I know there's this online narrative that Steph doesn't hit clutch shots, and it's dumb. But when he hit that three off a really bad pass from our buddy Pods, that was a really, really terrible pass, a really terrible overplay from Bradley Beal, and Steph barely looked at the rim. He halfway turned. It was like he pirouetted. Like literally, he just spun around like a figure skater and looked up and shot it. It was amazing. And the shot was a missile. It wasn't one of those like soft makes. It was like a, that was worth Mike Breen going bang, bang. It was worth a double bang. I think he just gave us one. And I literally yelled audible like, oh, not because you're rooting for anything. It was such an amazing shot. What'd you get, John?
Two things. One, everything you're describing, I love, because this is why we all got into this. Like why you got into this, why I took a job as a NBA podcast producer. Like these are the moments that we love and we live for, right? And these are the moments that make the league the league. I just want to point out one quick thing, because this has been my like soapbox all year. Is I'll see like a video of someone showing off like Jokic pass highlights and like, man, how does he do it? He's a wizard, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he can do it because he practices it. Like he's not just coming up with it. Like I saw Luka was on JJ Redick's podcast and JJ Redick was trying to get him. And Luka was just like, I don't practice this stuff. Like I'm built different, right? But Jokic practices this stuff. Luka practices a lot of the stuff. Steph, I don't know if you saw this. Steph practices this. He has a thing where he turns his back to the basket, someone gives him the ball, and then he's, without having any idea what the basket looks like or how far he is, he just has to turn and fire. And so when he made it, I was like, well, yeah, of course he made it. He practices that. That's a thing that he practices. So like, yes, he's a freak of nature, but I also love pointing out that these NBA guys are freaks of nature who do things that they've practiced a million times, and that's why they're able to do them.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, we lose track, John, of, hey, you're right. Steph practices all these different scenarios where I got to get up a quick shot and I'm barely looking at the rim and I'm turning right to left or I'm turning off this shoulder. So it doesn't feel so foreign to him. Even still, the fact that this man who's going to turn 36 in a month is doing all of this and still has like a legit hunger, a legit insatiable appetite. And we got into this really bad basketball conversation a couple of nights ago. Maybe it started on ABC. Maybe it started with Stephen A. and Bob Myers about Kevin Durant not getting credit and Kevin Durant leaving Stephen Curry's team and all that stuff or whatever. And I think the important thing to point out is that Stephen Curry is a better basketball player today than he was during those early championship Warriors years. He can't reach the high note, right? If Steph is a lead singer, you know what I mean? Like, he can't reach those high Ronald Isley, Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston notes all the time. Like, he was a better athlete back then. He's a better basketball player now. Like, the way that he can manage a game now. And he's not really, game manager. Like, one day we're going to get into this. When we talk about historical point guards one day, y'all, when y'all are ready for those conversations, and I'm going to thank Cam Newton for this, because there's some point guards who are game managers and some point guards who are game breakers. And not that I'll break it down exactly in the same way, but Steph is definitely a game breaker, right? But he has learned to manage a game within the game in ways that he did not do back then. He was just playing back then. He was playing with the exuberance, with the joy, The Warriors were breaking the league. Remember, they light years ahead and all this other stuff. Now everybody's playing the basketball the same way. The Warriors don't have that schematic advantage of we're just going to shoot threes and we're going to play small and everything else. We have to play the game a little different. Steph is a better basketball player. His knowledge of the game, the way that he's out here playing, you can see it. He's not going to be hitting shots at a 44% rate from three like he used to. But I think he's a better basketball player than even when Kevin Durant was with them. I firmly believe that.